Hi guys, this is Stephanie with My Simply Creative Designs. Today we're going to be creating a Step Up card using the Sizzix by Stephanie Bernard Step Up dies with the You Are So Kind sentiment on the cover. All we're going to be using from this die set is the biggest die, and I already took my cardstock in Pixie and cut out our card base. I always would recommend that you cut out your cards in a heavy cardstock because that will give a lot of heft to your card, so that way when you mail it, it doesn't bend or break. So I already cut out my card base, and then we're also going to be using from the Stamps of Life the Flower Power to fill both the stamp set and the dies. But I'm going to be showing you how you can cut out just the stamps if you don't have the dies. I'll be showing you another tool you can use if you have a Silhouette Cameo, how you'll be able to cut out your flowers. We're also going to be using Pixie ink, candy ink, licorice ink, artichoke, guava, grape, lemonade, banana, green apple, and kiwi ink from the Stamps of Life. Basically pinks, purples, green, and yellow. So if you don't have these colors from the Stamps of Life, you can use whatever colors you like. These are just the colors that I use to stamp for my card. So put those off to the side. And I'm also using a brand new tool I got called the Mini Misty. That's how I was able to stamp all of my flowers. So this is the smaller version that they just came out with of the Misty. And basically what you do is you take your cardstock. I just use plain white, and it comes with two super strong magnets to hold your cardstock in place. You line it up with the corner of the die or the corner of the Mini Misty mat and put your magnets down. And then we're going to be using this tool to help us get really clear stamps. So I already stamped and cut out several different flowers using different patterns from the Flower Power to fill. I also cut out the base of a flower and stamped that in two different colors. And then where I really had to use my Silhouette Cameo Pick Scan paper was that I stamped all these words, and then I used it to cut them out. Now, if you don't have that, then you could simply stamp your words on your card when you're done. I just like cutting them out because I think it adds a little bit of extra pop to the card when the words pop out at the reader. So we'll take those off there, and I will show you how I stamped a couple of these flowers before I cut them out. So what I'll show is how to stamp one that looks like this. So if you can see that, basically the flower has some really neat pattern on it. It's several of the same kind of flower just over and over again. The other one that's in this set is polka dots, and then it just has the plain solid fill. And you can use any colors you want. Like I said, I just use purples and pinks for mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take out the flower and word dies from the Stamps of Life, and I'm going to show you how I used my Mini Misty to stamp as much on this as I could. So I'm going to take the flower off because I'm going to stamp that in black. And all you do is you kind of find the spot on your paper where you want to stamp it. And what I had to keep in mind when I was doing mine is that since I used my Pick Scan paper on my Silhouette Cameo, I cut out, as you can see, a little border around the edge. So I really had to just kind of be cognizant of leaving enough space so that when I went to go import it into my Pick Scan software, I had enough room to give a little bit of a border. But you could also cut it out right around the border exact and then you don't have to leave quite so much space. So all you do is you put your stamp down, find the spot where you want it, and then you pick up your stamp. Basically, when you push down, it'll pick up your stamp off of your paper. And then all you have to do is take your ink. In this case, I use licorice for the borders of all of my stamps. And open it up. And just stamp or ink up your stamp. Then all you have to do is take and push it over. Stamp your image. And then you have the flower border. So I always use just baby wipes to clean off my stamps. So let's go ahead and clean off. And with the new Mini Misti compared to the old Misti product, the grid is etched into the plastic. It's not printed like it used to be. So it makes it a little bit easier to clean off your acrylic. You don't have to worry so much about the image coming off. So next I'm going to stamp each petal. So basically all you do is you take your stamp, line it up with the petal where you want it, press over your lid to pick up your stamp, and then you can choose whatever color you want to stamp your flowers. So I think maybe this time I'll do yellow on these. So I'm using banana ink. And the nice thing about this Misti is that when you go over, if you stamp and you're not really fond of how the image came out, because it's stuck here on this plastic, you can just re-ink your stamp and you can re-stamp your image without having to move it or mess it up. I know I've done that sometimes before, where I go to stamp my image and it's not quite as clear as I want it to be. So I'll show you what I mean here. So I'll pick up my stamp and I'll just be real light with it. Well, that didn't come out the way I wanted it. Let me try it on this one. Alright, so I'll just stamp half of it here, or ink up half. Now when I go to stamp it, as you can see, part of the stamp is missing. So normally you'd have to try and sit there and line it all up and get it to look like a perfect copy, or else you have to start all over again. So with the Mini Misti, all you do is you take, re-ink your stamp, push down, and then it makes a perfect image every single time. You don't have to worry about messing up your almost complete image. So you just pick it up. Now of course you don't have to do ones that are that intricate. You could just do the black outline, and then if you wanted, you could dye it in archive, or ink it and cut it out of archive ink, and then you could take markers and color it in if you chose. I just really like this new Mini Misti and how easy and pretty it makes my stamping. So I did all that for my flower, and then I would go to my machine and die cut it out. If you don't have the Stamps of Life die set, which for this, there's several different ones. This one's going to cut out each petal separate and the middle separate. This one's just going to cut an outline of the whole thing. This one's going to cut a little bit more of a closer cutout of the image. And then that last one's just going to cut out a solid. So if I was going to take and use this on the die cut machine, I would take and use this one right here to cut it out, because it'll just cut out right around the edge. Also, if you wanted a little bit more of a border around it, like I had with my Pix scan, you could use this die here and it'll give you a little bit more of a border. So you could take it and go cut it in the machine, or use your Pix scan paper to be able to cut it out. So like I said, I have a whole bunch of these already cut out and ready to go. So all we're going to do now is go ahead and put together our card. So like I said, I already folded it so it's standing up, but I think to decorate it, I'm going to lay it flat, and I'm just going to be decorating this area down here at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to lay out all of my flowers. Here's the leaves of one, and I think what might be best is to take and kind of map out where I want my words first, leaving enough space to put the flowers. And I'm not using the border die, so I thought it would be fun to kind of plug some of the words in sideways. And you can have your words hang over the edge, because all the way over to here will fit in an A2 size envelope. So, just going to kind of play around with it here. Maybe I'll put "you are so" here. And then I could do "awesome" over the top. And I really like this purple flower. All right, so I think that I'm not going to use all of them. I'm going to add a little bit of dimension with some pop dots. So, all right, we are going to take and start gluing down our pieces here. And the glue that I really like is Tombow liquid glue, and just find it leaves a thin layer, but it really sticks well. So that's what we're going to be using today, except for on the words. We might use some glue tape, because sometimes that just comes out a little bit cleaner, works a little bit better. All right, so as I said, all these words were cut out using my Picscan for Silhouette Cameo. I know a lot of people have those machines. I really wanted to be able to cut out the words and make them look die cut and stamped, which I have a lot of die cut words, but not always do they all come die cut. I just really like the writing on these words and thought that it would be really cool to be able to cut them out. So that's when I used the Picscan paper for my silhouette. It really makes it diverse and lets you be able to cut out any words basically that you want. So there's our flower, one flower. So I just kind of used all the same pinks and greens for all of my words and purples. I think I'm going to glue him down on the bottom there. Awesome. So you are so loved. Awesome. Sweet. Which I really like that pink and green together. And I'm going to use a pop dot there. So let me go get one. Here we go. So I think he'll look a little bit better standing up a little on our card. There we go. Perfect. So we kind of have this little row of 3 flowers here. So we have loved, awesome, sweet, We're going to add wonderful. So this could be like a thank you card, just kind of a pick-me-up card maybe for someone who's not feeling too good. This would be a neat card to get if you were in the hospital and you were sick. I love unique and yellow. The banana is very bright, which I love. Let's see. I'm going to add amazing. Actually, I think I'm going to add beautiful back in there because I like the purple on purple. The two different tones. I think I'm going to stop there. You are so beautiful, loved, unique, awesome, sweet, wonderful. I'm going to move unique up there a little bit. This purple flower kind of got in the way. So you are so loved, beautiful, wonderful, unique, sweet, and awesome. Then on the inside, you have plenty of room to write your message. That's one of the great things about these Step Up cards is it gives you tons and tons of room to write to someone. And when it stands up, it looks just like this. So if you're giving this card to somebody, they'll be able to look at it and see all the bright and cheerful words and flowers that you give to them. So I hope you enjoyed this. Once again, I'm Stephanie with My Simply Creative Designs. Comment down below about the card, or if you have any questions about the PicScan, and I can do a tutorial on how to use that. But please comment. Also, I'll put a link down to the Stamps of Life website where I got the dies, inks, cardstock, and stamp set. And I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.